morning headlines before you step out, midday updates while you work, evening analysis when the day winds down. Wherever life takes you, Aneke TV keeps you informed, connected, and ahead. Aneke TV. Move with the world.
Many thanks for joining us on The Insight. Tonight, on The Insight, we'll look at Nigerian health sector, healing the healer. We aren't just looking at the hospitals. We are looking at the people holding them together. Nigeria's health sector is often described as ailing, but the real tragedy is that very hands meant to care us are trembling from exhaustion. With a doctor to patient ratio now hovering around 1 to 9,000, our healthcare professionals are working 100-hour weeks in race against burnout. Tonight, on Insight, we ask critical question. In a nation where 16,000 doctors have left in just 5 years, how do we heal the healer before the system flattens? This Nigeria health sector, healing the healer, and joining us on The Insight to x-ray these issues is Dr. Ejiofor Brendan Mama, who is the First Association of Medical Laboratory Science of Nigeria Practitioners Enugu State Branch, the first president. Doc, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much. My name is Dr. Brendan Ejiofor Mama, the immediate past branch chairman of Association of Medical Laboratory Scientists of Nigeria, Enugu State.
Okay.
I also double as the first vice chairman of Association of Professional Bodies of Nigeria, Enugu State chapter. So thank you so much for having me, my uncle.
All right. Let me ask. The last time you were here, we did speak on various health issues. And one was expecting that you shouldn't be in this country by now. Let me start with like, why are you still here?
I think service to motherland, because it's not all about motherland, but also it's not about money rather, but about your value to the society and also people around, because all of us should not leave the country. And if you are very optimistic that one day Nigeria will be better, you will not have any other shot than to stay back and then also help humanity, because as you are helping humanity, you are also helping yourself. So we have every reason to leave the country, but we decided to stay back, at least to contribute our own quota to the health system of this country.
You stayed back to help humanity, to contribute your quota.
Contribute our own quota, because if all of us leave this country, who will take care of our aged mother? And even you say you are taking your mother and your father out of the country, what of other extended relatives?
All right.
So they are here for us. So we have to stay back to make sure that again it will repair this country, and we have hope that in the nearest future the country will come back to its normal status.
The country will come back to its normal status.
I am positive about that.
Listening to you talk, the next question I would want to ask, it has to do with money, but you did tell us that it's not about the money. But first of all, let me get your opinion on the Nigerian health sector in 2026.
It's quite unfortunate that for how many years after the gathering of African head of states in Abuja, to be precise, this is exactly 25 years, because it happened in 2001 at FCT. By then, former President Olusegun Obasanjo was the president of this country, and they all agreed, about 54 of them, they agreed that annual budget of all these countries should be at least 15% for health. So that when you roll out this 15% to health, to go a long way in helping us to equip the hospital, employ capable hands, and also pay people who are working there. Because to whom much is expected, what should be given. And if you can take a cursory look into 2026 budget, over 54 trillion naira was budgeted for the annual budget, according to the reports by the current President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But surprisingly, out of this money, it's just mere pittance. Approximately 4.3% of it was allotted,
which is about
just about 2.5 trillion naira. So what can that one go?
That can solve the challenges. It can solve the challenges.
When they have said there, when countries were still good, how much was dollar exchange in 2001 compared to now? And they recommended that at least 15% of annual budget should be allocated to health. And you are bringing a pittance of 4.3, and you are asking me if it is okay. So what do you expect of it? A lot of rehabilitation going on in our hospital. In the country now, we have no less than 30 federal teaching hospitals and no less than 25 federal medical centers and over 30,000 primary health centers. How far can this money go? And every day we are shouting of outbreak of disease. Currently, what we are facing now is the outbreak of this Lassa fever on annual basis. What we have just sat down and then develop vaccine that will prevent it. And at the end of the day, everybody will be okay. And if you get down to our hospital, on daily basis, our equipment are breaking down. In this sense, any equipment that we are using for diagnosis should have a backup. Should there be any breakage in the equipment, another one will be in place to at least help out in the case of emergency. We don't even have adequate. Now that is why people are leaving. You could tell about 16,000 doctors. How many nurses have left this country? It's not less than 30,000 nurses, according to the record. How many medical lab scientists? Close to about 8,800 medical lab scientists have left the country within the past 3 years. And all these people are good hands that are supposed to stay back in the country to take care of our sick ones. And then the ratio is is increasing on daily basis. And by the end of the day, after work, you get exhausted, and you might even break down. And all these things are what is really, prompting us to leave the country. But if all of us leave, who will now stay back to take care of the country and take care of our patient in the country? But that does not mean the federal government should take this issue for granted. Just about how many months? From 18th day of November till 8th day of February, the Johesu members were on strike, demanding for their rights. And all these things, even up tonight, have not been attended to. It's just on a promissory note that before April 20th, it to be attended to. So all these things are what we have to come together and analyze and know how we can come and solve this problem once and for all. At least annually, the budget should not be less than 10% of annual budget. So that when you now invest it in this health sector, proper remuneration, adequate drugs in the system, and all this drug revolving fund, they should activate it. And also this our National Health Insurance Act should be optimal so that people can access treatment with less amount of money, because out of this from this out-of-pocket expenditure is very, very much on people. How much is our salary? And when you buy medicine out of it, you find out that you are living with nothing. Cost of food. Talk of house rent in Enugu State now. For you to get a comfortable apartment that you can live with your family, you are going to spend no less than 1.something million naira, excluding agent and legal fee. So how much are they paying you? And even if you are a private practitioner, the place you are renting, how much are you paying for the place? And also taxation here and there. So all those things are choking on the health workers in the state and also the country at large. So it is very, very important that we critically look into it and then upgrade the system so that people will have the reason to stay back in the country and then work under a conducive environment to take care of this our people. So at the end, we'll be able to increase our lifespan expectancy.
All right. When we were speaking, I was prompted to ask you that initial question I started with. I wanted to ask again, how are you coping? How are medical practitioners coping under these intense, dilapidating facilities you have available? And one thing becomes quite obvious. There seems to be less strike, given this condition?
No.
You will no longer go on strike.
We are, they're like Johesu people are just coming back from the strike.
Okay.
That lasted for about 2 months.
And this strike is because of the facilities?
Facilities
and not because of your welfare?
Remuneration. I have to eat first because the Congress adjustment had been neglected for the past 11 years now. Since 2014 till now, they've not attended to it. And besides that, we are taking one item after the other. After this now, we also, there was a time we went on strike because of poor equipment in the hospital. And that was about 2 years ago. But even at that, there's no significant improvement. Every day our equipment gets broken down, and in the end, if you have nothing to do, even the cost of diesel and all these things, sometimes we go to work, there will be no light. Because the national grid might not be supplying.
Sorry, Doc, I have to cut in.
Okay.
You go to work and there's no light.
There will be no light.
I thought it's only private.
It's not only private because that internal generated revenue is also dwindling on daily basis. How much are they selling a liter of diesel? Take for instance, Investor of Nigeria Teaching Hospital where I'm working. How many drums of diesel will you buy to sustain power supply in the hospital for 24 hours? You know, in hospital you have to run for 24 hours. The only thing is that some critical places were, selected, like intensive care units. That place, whenever you go down there, there must be 24 hours power supply.
How do you power that place?
There's inverter there.
Okay.
There's solar there that supplies it. But I have to commend the effort of our CMD, Professor Donatus Obinna Onodogo. He's doing a yeoman's job in University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital. But even at that, more still have to be done because he couldn't cover all. Like the laboratory section, the chemical pathology, microbiology, and all these things, they don't have this solar. They depend on a generator. And by the end of the day, sometimes even gen set will now break down, and in the end, it will always affect our turnaround time. So when I mean turnaround time, the rate of release of results when they come today, if it's 24 hours, are we able to make it? And sometimes you'll be on call, there will be no light. You have to, attend to patients with touchlight, even with your handset.
With touchlight?
I'm telling you. Because so at a point there was no national grid, and a lot of money was owned, and to clear it took a long time. But for now, we have hope. But you can witness what is happening in the state now. For over how many days now, there has been erratic power supply, and it's also affecting the hospital setup. The only thing we have to do is to ensure that this solar of it, this alternative arrangement, should be made available in all the hospitals, all the primary health centers. Right. Even this type 2 primary health center, His Excellency, Barrister Peter Nubisimba is building across 260 world. We should also take cognizance of that. Because the storage of our vaccine demands that all these facilities should have a standby power.
Storage of vaccines.
Yes, because the potency depends on storage. Okay. And those primary health centers are where all these vaccines has to be very close to whoever is administering it, so that they shouldn't travel from the city only just for you to get on the way. Maybe the vehicle breaks down or temperature extortion happens and affects the potency of that vaccine. It's very, very important. And besides that, it's very, very important that also patients also have a conducive environment when they come to access Medicare in your facility. Give them a comfortable environment. There should be AC, there should be fan. The environment should be airy enough, at least to prevent this hospital-associated infection. Don't go to hospital and carry one disease or the other and come back. Okay. So it's very, very important to also look into that.
All right. It's good that you've brought me down to Enugu State. I was going to ask you about that in a while, but let's tracking back a bit. You did cite this 15% allocation of national budget as agreed by heads of state in Abuja during the era of President Olusegun Obasanjo. And the reality on ground is that we're way, way below that 15%. Yes. But I ask, given that we didn't meet that target, should there be, like we are seeing in some parts of Nigeria where there is an outbreak of Lassa fever, how are we well equipped to handle such issues like Lassa fever, cholera outbreak, and the likes?
That's why I'm saying, because in the last edition, I handle the issue of Lassa fever.
Yes.
And I did tell you then that you'll be surprised to know that if there's any case of Lassa fever in Enugu State, the nearest facility we can use is the health center in Ebonyi State.
The health center in Ebonyi State?
Federal Teaching Hospital, Alex Ekweme Teaching Hospital. And they run the test there. And apart from that, you can also get down to Erua in Edo State. Just check the distance. We don't have any center. We don't have any diagnosis center, be it public or private, that can easily test a case and tell you this is a Lassa case. And for you to know the danger we are. Also, recently, you had the incident of somebody that was bitten by a snake. And across the country, there was no any antivenom in the hospital.
Yes.
That is the level such non-implementation of that 15% affirmative has resulted to. Most of our hospital, all these essential drugs that are very expensive for managing chronic diseases, when you get down to our hospital pharmacies, they are not there because the fund release was not enough to procure all those. And some expensive diagnoses in the hospitals are always contracted out. If not for the sake of public-private partnership that some hospitals engaged, some essential tests cannot be done because the hospital will not be able to, get the money to procure the equipment, and also train the personnel that supposed to handle such equipment. So all those things have already, boiled down to the poor services we are having in health system. And the Nigerian system really have to look into it and then go back to the drawing board, know the bottleneck. I know one of the excuses they are giving is that insecurity has gone down our annual budget. But even at that, while we are fighting insecurity, there should be reasonable amount of money, if not that 15%, at least half of it, at least 7.5%, not giving us 4.3. How much can 2.83 trillion naira do in health system? Divide it across the 30,000 primary health centers. How many millions of naira would they have? One single MRI machine, how much does it cost? Even a very nice microscope, Olympian microscope, how much does it cost? That I want to provide it across this primary health center at over 30,000. So it is abysmally low. Abysmally low. Very, very low.
All right. Let me, move way further. I was going to ask about welfare of patients in your hospitals. But before I get to that, let me talk about health practitioners. What is the welfare in terms of accommodation? Like, you fund for yourself, or when we talk about the University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital, for example, do you have accommodation that is comfortable enough for medical practitioners?
Unfortunately, once you finish your study, you are all alone as far as accommodation is concerned. The hospital can provide you accommodation as an intern or house officer. But once you have started your residency or you have started work as a medical laboratory scientist, pharmacist, and all these things, you're on your own.
On your own.
And this part 3 they pay, they added small amount of it in the name of accommodation. So when you now talk, they say it is incorporated in your salary. But how far can that allowance go? All those allowances could not even take us outside the gates.
Outside the gates.
I'm telling you, because as we are receiving it, it is vanishing, considering the cost of living. Just as I enumerated earlier now, if you have a very nice choice and you want to live in a new apartment in Enugu, take for instance, maybe you have a plan of having a family and all these things. Okay, you say 2-bedroom flat. Even in a chalet layout, how much does 2-bedroom flat cost? How much is your salary? The 2-bedroom flat will go up about 85% of your annual budget. Then how do you then survive? And most of us who travel to work from here to University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital, if you go there by car, how much fuel you there? We are just living by the grace of God.
By the grace of God.
I tell you, and we really have to, we are compressing ourselves, reducing our expenditure on daily basis.
Doc,
and to the point that everybody is living quite uncomfortable.
Doc, I want to ask again, where is the problem coming from? Given that some information available or some data, speculate that Nigerian government spend about 50,000 US dollar to train one medical personnel or one medical doctor, and at the end of the day, we'll let them move away. UK is there to receive them with both hands. What is the problem? Why can't we take care of these personnel?
My agriculture side, you want to know?
Yes.
Leadership.
Leadership. No, when we say leadership, that may be ambiguous.
The government is not helping nation. Because on annual basis, we keep on training these health professionals, only for them to be utilized on the other side of the country. Because good to US, good to UK, good to Spain, the best hands there are from Nigeria.
The best hands there are from Nigeria.
Best hand head workers.
Doc, on that note, we'll go on a short break, and when we return, we'll continue to look into this issue.
Thank you so much.
Can we continue this? The insight with Uche Osai.
Having the political will to confront whatever is the challenges.
Igbo man wrestles with
the tortoise that had a lot of ingenuity, a lot of ideas, and the tireless. It will take the bold mind of government in power to say, let there be electoral reform, no matter whose ox is God.
I was there. We did everything. All of us came and supported him with our last block.
In-depth analysis, expert views, real voices, uncover the stories shaping Nigeria today. Deep dive, honest, unfiltered, only on the insight with Uche Osai on Aneke TV. Join us.
My name is Dr. Emmanuel Ihechi Asonye. I am the CEO of Omenka App LLC. I created Omenka App for the preservation of Igbo language and culture. Omenka App was established in New Mexico, and it is headquartered in Albuquerque, but currently we are also being registered in Nigeria. We have a website. We are also on social media, because my app is primarily for the Igbo community. In 2006, something significant happened among the Igbo community. UNESCO predicted that Igbo language was going to go into extinction, and that was because Igbo people are one of the most traveled people in the whole world. So the more children are born outside of Igbo land, the more they get disconnected. The app is on iOS, it's also on Android. Access the website and download the app from there. And over 2,000 people are using the app right now. But there's an app that will teach you about Igbo culture, Igbo people. We have Igbo poems, we have riddles and jokes, we have Igbo proverbs, then we have the word section where you are going to search Igbo words. Whatever word that you can find in English, you want to make sure it is found in the app in Igbo language. And I encourage everybody from their communities, you can do what we're doing in Omenka app with your own language and with your own culture. Do not allow your culture or your language to die.
Chinua Achebe taught the world that African stories matter. Through Things Fall Apart, gave voice to the colonized and challenged stereotypes. His legacy is proof that the pen can shape perception and preserve identity.
Many thanks for staying with us. If you just joined us, we've been looking at the Nigerian health sector, healing the healer, and we've been discussing with Dr. Brendan Ejiofor Mama, immediate past chairman, Association of Medical Laboratory Science of Nigeria, Enugu chapter. Doc, it's been a pleasure discussing with you on this issue. But tracking back, I asked that question, who is the problem here, given that the government that spends about, is said to have spent about $50,000 to train one medical practitioner, would just watch, mouth agape, letting these practitioners take the next available flight to the welcoming arms of foreign governments. And you did tell me leadership. I said no. Leadership is ambiguous.
It's leadership.
When you say leadership, are we looking at just the government?
From the hospital to the state.
Yes.
From the state to the federal.
Let's get
so
it.
let's get it.
Let's
right.
get it. You said from sorry, Doc. You said from the local government?
From the local government,
So
even
the
from the
state?
hospital. From
Okay,
hospitals,
from the
because
hospital,
if
yeah.
you don't have a nice medical director or chief medical director that will communicate the needs of the hospital to the highest in power, your request, your needs has not done. And if you have a government that doesn't listen, whatever you say is just washed. And in the end, even with also when we have citizens do not really react to issues, you find out that everybody will just be doing things as if it is normal. So what do I have to say about this? Why am I saying it? You said government, and I want to disagree with you, not necessarily government, parents, because there is no any free medical school in this country.
Okay.
Parents pay through their nose to make sure they spend all they have to bring their children to this school, the medical school. I've not had any government buying textbook for the students. Even when they are writing the examination, they pay everything, including transportation to wherever they are doing. So because they are not fully involved in that process, they might not know. Because the students are paying school fees. Who are they paying it to? Even if they tell you that they provided equipment for training, in the end, it's just like a Greek gift. It's given with the right hand and then collected with the left hand. So what we just want to tell you is this. The country does not really value the talent it has. Because Nigeria is talented, multi-talented. When you come to medicine, we are topping the lists. When you come to arts, we are topping the lists. When you come to law, we are topping the lists. But bad governance has set us to this level. And that is why you see a government that does not really pay premium to the heads of its citizenry, but is more particular about its own health by trying to constitute a committee that will spend 150 million naira or billion naira to just test the food that you want to eat, so that your family and you and your family, your immediate family, will be safe. Why people are dying of hunger in the streets? So all these things boil down to leadership, as I'm telling you. Because if we have a nice leader that knows the importance of health, that knows that if you harness these people, they will not only help to save these people, but also serve as a source of income. Because this fuel of a sin, this mono economy we're experiencing from the petroleum product and all these things has made us lazy. Because this human resource we have is enough to be a source of income to the country, because the expertise needed in this health sector, we all have it in this country. But the government is not making use of it. I don't really get me. And that is why I'm telling you it boils down to leadership. Because if we're able to harness these talents and use them effectively, Nigeria will be a world place for medical tourism. So with this now, you find out that we are not making use of what we don't value what we have. And that is why we are losing these best hands on daily basis. And once they leave this country, they become a celebrity the other side. And when you are here, people will just, are you asking yourself, is this not your colleague that left this country and is making news everywhere? Because everything they need
is available.
But here they will push you to the war front and deny you what? Deny you the bullets and the arms and ammunition that you need to fight. That is the problem we are having. They ask you to go and fight, and with bare hands, exposing your life to risk. Take for instance the outbreak of COVID. How many health workers lost their lives? This year alone, we have lost no less than 3 lives to this Lassa fever. Medics.
This year alone?
Yes. medics. Three medical officers have lost their life to this Lassa fever. People who are there to serve. On daily basis, we are facing a lot of issues. Even insecurity. While coming to work, we are not safe. People can just come and abduct you, and all those your savings could be wiped out within a twinkle of an eye.
Okay.
That is the level of dilapidation we are facing in this country.
All right, Doc. We've spoken about these issues. I was going to ask what needs to be done to see that we curb these challenges. But before I get to that, let's step down a bit. While we were speaking before, we did mention Enugu State. And I am, forced to ask. I usually would want to get people's assessment, but coming from a medical practitioner like yourself, I want to know, what's your assessment of the healthcare sector in Enugu State? Let's look state-wise.
State-wise, I think I have to give kudos to the governor of Enugu State, in the person of Barrister Dr. Peter Ndubisimba. There has been a significant change since, he ascended office on the 29th day of May 2023. Even the Type 2 Primary Health Center is a top-notch. Just as the domestication of human resource policy that just in service, I happen to be one of the committee members that participated at Teron Hotel. That was June last year. We recommended that not only building that Type 2 hospitals, really have to equip it. And not only equipping it, make sure they are adequately staffed. Members of staff, yes. Because one thing is building the hospital, another thing is equipping it. And even if you equip it, if you don't employ professionals to manage it, the equipment will not be properly used. It will not be optimally used to the advantage of the citizenry. And that is why we recommended that for every primary health center, all the health professionals should be adequately represented, regardless of the cost implication.
Regardless of
cost implication, because life first, cost is secondary. And if you make effective use of them, they will even generate revenue that will make you attain that your 34 billion naira target. So, what do we mean? At least two medical laboratory scientists must be in that facility, 2 medical doctors, 2 pharmacists, 2 health management officers, at least 2 community health extension workers, nurses, lab attendants, pharmacist attendants. All this team must be on ground, and also equip the hospital with state-of-the-art equipment, so that at any point in time, any diagnosis, because across all the 774 local government now, we have a district officer where you notify any outbreak of diseases. More especially, take for instance in the case of Lassa fever, when you dial 6232, you get that notification officer, the district transfer officer. For every local government has that DSNO, disease surveillance notification officer. Okay. So once that person is there, we can easily do what? Get tested for any outbreak of disease. Instead of trying to, transport such a person, if it happened far down in Izuwani, check the risk of transporting somebody at night to University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital. When we have the human resources. Because Enugu State is richly blessed with health personnel. University of Nigeria is churning out thousands of medical professionals annual. Where you combine the doctors, the pharmacists, the medical laboratory scientists, the radiographers, the physiotherapists, the nurses, all these people. When you over 1,000, when I say even over 2,000 naira annually,
2,000 personnel
annually from University of Nigeria alone, get down to ISUT, get down to Federal School of Dental Technology, now Federal College of Dental Technology in Transekulu. Get down to Shanahan, Suka, producing science, medical labs, technicians and assistants. The same thing to Oji River. Many of institutions producing this. Let's make effective use of these people, the best hand. Let them be equipped, employ them. And at the end of the day, you find out that we'll be able to bring health care down to the rural area. And this urban, rural urban migration will be brought to an end. And they also make sure that there is a basic amenity. I also have to commend him because the information I'm gathering, though the one in my community who know already, they have not dug the borehole, but other primary health centers are having borehole. And while they are doing that, let there be drinkable water, potable water in the community, electricity. There should be electricity and then good road network. Because now it's like this good road network is limited to the city. I believe by this year he will extend it to other local governments. The 17 local governments should be easily accessible so that people can easily go. And also the drone we are hearing of should be put in effective use so that wherever you are, you feel safe. Any health worker going to work will be safe. Anywhere they post you, you know you are safe. And with that, people will start coming back because north, east, west.
Nowhere like home.
Nowhere like home. Home is the best.
All right, Doc, I think Enugu State is got to be carved as a topic of its own in terms of healthcare, because the information available is that people intend to turn Enugu State to a medical tourist center or attraction. But for want of time, Doc, I want to ask, we've looked at the issues. We've seen doctors are leaving. We've seen you barely have equipment to work. And when I ask, you say it's for the sake of humanity, not money. Then there has to be a solution. What do you recommend that we do in a nutshell?
In a nutshell, make the environment conducive for health workers. Because when you make the environment conducive for the health workers, you find out that they won't have any option than to stay back. And remember our proverb that says that when the child sees a honey, he throws away the big cake. When you provide that comfortable environment, make sure that the paper, like now in the developed country, they pay per hour. And there's no, but all these countries they go to, they pay not than $20 to $30 per hour. Some, even healthcare attendants, go as much as $10 per hour. So with that now, you find out that with this, if you are well paid and then provide security, equip the hospital. Because even when you pay all these things and the working environment is not conducive, people might still leave. Equip the hospital and make sure that the environment has enough security. And the major challenge now, apart from this remuneration, is even the power supply. The rate of power outage in the country is very, very high, more especially in Enugu State. Recently, it has been so boring because you prepare yourself to go to work and you get down there, one frustration or other about light. All those things have to be critically looked into. And in the end of the day, when these things are provided, people will stay back and then enjoy, give in their talents, and develop the state, not only the state, but also the country.
All right. Doc, thank you very much. That's the much we can take for today on The Insight. And if you've listened to us on this issue of the health sector, healing the healer, let us know what you think. With every issue that's been enumerated, reach us with the handle at Aneke TV, all at Facebook and YouTube and other social media handles as well. To come your way same time, we've been discussing with Dr. Ejiofor Brendan Mama, who is the immediate past chairman of the Association of Medical Lab Science Nigeria.
Medical Lab Scientists
Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Uche, for having me.
It's a pleasure. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. And that's the much we can. I will till come your way same time tomorrow. I remain your host, Uche Osai. Bye-bye.
Every second The world changes, markets rise, leaders speak, stories unfold. To keep up, you don't just need news, you need clarity, you need speed, you need perspective.
That's why Aneke TV brings you the global pulse. Accurate, reliable, right when it matters most. Aneke TV. Move with the world.
Nigeria, Africa's largest economy and most populous nation, continues to grapple with a critical infrastructure deficit that hinders growth and development. Reliable electricity remains a major challenge. Although Nigeria has the capacity to generate 12,000 to 13,000 megawatts, supply to homes and businesses is inconsistent. In 2023, only 61% of Nigerians had access to electricity, leaving around 87 million people without reliable power, the largest electricity access gap in the world. This shortfall forces businesses to spend billions of dollars annually on backup solutions like diesel generators, diverting resources from investment and job creation. Transmission losses, generation inefficiencies, and gas supply challenges further suppress per capita electricity consumption, affecting productivity and competitiveness. Transport infrastructure also lags behind demand. While Nigeria has an extensive road network, over 70% of roads are in poor condition, slowing the movement of goods and people, raising transport costs for farmers and traders. Rail development remains limited, with only about 3,500 kilometers of operational track, insufficient for a country of over 220 million people. Overall, Nigeria's infrastructure stock, including roads, power systems, bridges, water systems, and digital networks, is estimated at about 30% of GDP, far below 70% international benchmark. This gap continues to constrain productivity and foreign investment. Water and sanitation infrastructure also fall short, leaving millions without access to safe drinking water or adequate sanitation. These affect public health, school attendance, and economic participation. Digital infrastructure is another critical area. Broadband penetration and data center capacity remain limited, concentrated mainly in Lagos, while other states lag behind. This restricts growth in fintech, cloud services, e-government, and emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence. Experts estimate that hundreds of billions of dollars will be required annually over the next decade to close these infrastructure gaps. Mobilizing investment from private sectors, international finance institutions, and public-private partnerships is essential. For Nigerians, improving infrastructure is more than convenience, it is a path to safer roads, stable power, efficient transport, modern digital networks, more jobs, business growth, better health outcomes, and increased competitiveness on the global stage. Bridging this infrastructure divide is crucial to transforming Nigeria's potential into tangible progress for every citizen.
Morning headlines before you step out. Midday updates while you work. Evening analysis when the day winds down. wherever life takes you. Aneke TV keeps you informed, connected, and ahead. Aneke TV. Move with the world.
Good afternoon and welcome to news across the country on Aneke TV. I'm Good Hope Chukuma. Headlines. Nigerian Army deploys 170 forest guards to strengthen security in Kebbi. Aneke promotes 82 officers to direct cadre in nationwide exercise. Details of the news. The Nigerian Army has deployed 170 forest guards to vulnerable communities in Arewa local government area of Kebbi State to strengthen security operations against banditry and terrorism. The guards were officially operationalized in Kangiwa by the commander, Sector 2 of Operation Fansa Yamma, Major General Bamba Paul Kuna. The deployment targets criminal elements using forest corridors as operational bases. To enhance mobility and rapid response, the Army provided 10 motorcycles and essential field equipment to support sustained patrols across difficult terrain. The intervention forms part of ongoing coordinated efforts to reclaim ungoverned spaces and restore civil authority in affected areas. Representing Governor Nasser Idris, Commissioner Haliru Aliyu Wasabu described the move as a critical collaboration between the state government and the military. The Chief of Army Staff charged the personnel to maintain professionalism and uphold rights of law-abiding citizens while carrying out their mandate. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control (NAFDAC) has announced strict enforcement measures against the production and sales of alcoholic beverages in sachets and bottles below 200 millimeters. Director General Professor Mojisola Adeyeye disclosed this at a briefing in Abuja, citing growing cases of alcohol abuse among minors. NAFDAC data indicate that more than half of underage drinkers purchase alcohol independently, with higher prevalence are recorded in Rivers, Lagos, and Kaduna states. The agency warned that early exposure to alcohol can impair brain development, particularly areas responsible for memory and decision making, and increases the risk of long-term dependence. Following a directive from the Senate, NAFDAC confirmed that no further extensions will be granted on the existing moratorium. The agency said it's working with the National Orientation Agency and the Federal Ministry of Health to implement a national alcohol policy aimed at protecting public health and reducing social harm. The Nigerian Customs Service has intercepted 14,000 liters of petrol premium motor spirit alleged being smuggled to Cameroon through the Calabar Axis. The seizure was carried out under Operation Whirlwind. The service's anti-smuggling task force across identified flashpoints, including Bakassi and Ikom. National Coordinator Zone C, Deputy Controller of Customs Abubakar Aliyu, said the products, comprising 235 jerry cans and 40 drums, have a duty paid value exceeding 40 million naira. He described the operation as part of intensified border surveillance to curb economic sabotage. Zone C Area Controller Momodu Dauda reaffirmed the service commitment to protecting national revenue and preventing diversion of strategic commodities. The seized fuel will be disposed of in line with extant regulations. The Federal High Court in Abuja has adjourned the alleged terrorism trial of former Attorney General of Federation Abubakar Malami and his son Abdulaziz to March 10, 2026. The adjournment followed an application by the Director of Public Prosecutions of the Federation, Rotimi Oyedebo, seeking time to review the case file. The prosecution informed the court that the matter was recently transferred from the Department of State Services to the Department of Public Prosecutions, necessitating further study. Counsel to the defendants, Adedayo Adedeji, did not oppose the application but urged the court to strike out the case if trials fails to commence on the next day. Justice Joyce Abdul Malik granted the request and directed the prosecution to open its case at the next sitting. The matter was accordingly adjourned for trial. Abia State Governor Alex Oti has declared zero tolerance for crude oil theft and pledged full support for Operation Delta Safe in combating economic sabotage. The governor made the commitment during a meeting with new commander of the Joint Task Force, Rear Admiral Olubenga Oladipo. Governor Oti offered to provide a dedicated operational base in Ukwa West local government area to strengthen security presence within the state's oil-producing corridor. He emphasized that curbing oil theft is essential for economic stability and public safety. Rear Admiral Oladipo disclosed that criminal networks have shifted tactics to targeting wellheads and deploying sophisticated methods for illegal refining. He said a 24-hour quick response squad has been activated to safeguard critical infrastructure and support national production targets. The Nigerian Christian Pilgrimage Commission has suspended pilgrimage activities to Israel and Jordan following the return of its 2025 main contingent. The final batch of pilgrims arrived at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, concluding recent exercises. Executive Secretary Bishop Stephen Adebute said the suspension was necessitated by escalating tensions in the Middle East and the declaration of a state of emergency in Israel. He stated that the safety of Nigerian pilgrims remains paramount. The Commission also extended directive to private pilgrimage operators and assured that activities will resume when security conditions improve. It thanked stakeholders for their cooperation and reaffirmed its commitment to safe and orderly pilgrimage administration. The suspended Commissioner for Works in Ebonyi State, Lebechi Mbam, has publicly accepted responsibility for lapses cited in his removal from office. Governor Francis Obonamwifuru has suspended Mbam and the Commissioner for Infrastructure Development over alleged underperformance. In a statement, Mbam acknowledged the governor's decision and described it as a necessary step to strengthen governance. He pledged renewed commitment to service if given another opportunity. Development underscores the administration's emphasis on performance and accountability within the State Executive Council. The government maintains that infrastructure delivery remains a priority. Kano State Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf has accepted the resignation of the Commissioner for Water Resources, Omar Haruna Doguwa. The decision takes immediate effect, according to a statement by the governor's spokesperson, Sunusi Buture Dawakin Tofa. Doguwa resigned ahead of his reported intention to contest the chairmanship of the All Progressive Congress at the forthcoming state congress. The governor commended his contribution in both the education and water resource ministries. To ensure continuity, the Commissioner for Education, Ali Haruna Abubakar Makoda, has been directed to oversee the Water Resources Ministry in acting capacity pending a substantive appointment. Abia State Governor Alex Oti has flagged off the reconstruction of Enyimba International Hotel in Aba as part of efforts to boost investment and tourism. The project is being executed in partnership with global hospitality brand Radisson Blu. The redevelopment will deliver a 120-room facility and a modern convention center within 12 months. The governor said the initiative is aimed at repositioning Aba as a commercial hub in the region. Stakeholders, including Senator Enyinaya Abaribe, described the project as a strategic move to unlock economic opportunities. The state government reaffirmed its commitment to infrastructure renewal and private sector collaboration. The Kano State House of Assembly has returned to full membership following the swearing-in of two newly elected lawmakers. Speaker Jibril Ismail Fagore administered the oath of office to Aminu Saadu and Nabiyu Aliyu Saraki Daneji. The legislators emerged victorious in recent by-elections conducted by the Independent National Electoral Commission. Both represent Ungogo and Kano municipal constituencies, respectively, under the platform of the All Progressives Congress. The Speaker urged the new members to uphold legislative integrity and prioritize constituency development. The lawmakers pledged commitment to effective representation and service delivery. The Executive Director of the Fix Politics Initiative, Anthony Ubani, has called for renewed commitment to accountability in public office. Speaking on Arise Television's prime time, he expressed concerns over what he described as declining standards in political leadership. Ubani alleged that public office holders often accumulate substantial assets during their tenure. raising questions about transparency and ethical governance. He stressed that corruption undermines national development and public confidence. He advocated stronger institutional reforms and enforcement mechanisms to promote integrity in leadership. Obani maintained that restoring trust in democratic institutions requires measurable commitment to responsible governance. You're watching Aneke TV news across the country. Remember, you can follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, all at Aneke TV. Now a quick reminder of major developments in the news. Nigerian Army deploys 170 forest guards to strengthen security in Kebbi. Coming up shortly, Aneke promotes 82 officers to Director Cadre in nationwide exercise. We'll be right back.
In a world that never stands still, where stories break in seconds and moments shape history, one station keeps you connected to your nation, to the continent, to the world.
From breaking news to powerful stories, from business and politics to culture, lifestyle and entertainment, we inform, we inspire, we keep you ahead.
This is more than television. This is your window to everywhere that matters.
Aneke TV. Move with the world.
Welcome back. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has approved the promotion of 2,339 members of staff across various grade levels. The exercise includes the elevation of 82 chief officers to assistant directors, 91 assistant directors to deputy directors, and 45 deputy directors to substantive directors. INEC disclosed that 18 of the newly promoted directors will remain in active service, while 27 are due for retirement in line with public service regulations. The Commission stated that the process was conducted strictly in accordance with merit and established civil service guidelines. The promotion also covers 2,121 officers on grade levels 07 to 13. INEC urged beneficiaries to uphold professionalism and integrity as the Commission prepares for forthcoming electoral activities nationwide. The Kwara State government has announced the recruitment of 150 nurses and the acquisition of magnetic resonance imaging MRI machine to strengthen healthcare delivery. Commissioner for Health Dr. Aminat El Imam disclosed this during a visit by officials of the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria. Dr. El Imam said the MRI facility will enhance advanced diagnostic services, particularly for neurological conditions, cancers, and stroke-related cases. She added that a computer tomography CT scanner will soon be installed to further improve access to specialized imaging services within the state. Chief Medical Director of Bukwara State University Teaching Hospital, Dr. Abdul Kader Bola, confirmed that the hospital recently secured accreditation in family medicine and obstetrics and gynecology. The state government says the combined investment in manpower and equipment is aimed at reducing medical referrals outside Kwara. The Edo State Police Command has arrested 3 suspects in connection with the kidnapping of 2 residents of Utesa village in Ovia Southwest local government area. The victims, Edafe Ogunekome and Favor Iyasa, were abducted in February. Police investigations led to the arrest of Kehinde Adetunji, Naziru Yao, and Absalam Muhammadu for alleged roles ranging from information supply to logistics support. The command also recovered 2 AK-47 rifles and 3 locally made guns during the operation. Commissioner of Police Mr. Monday Abonika confirmed that the remains of Edafe Ogunekome were later discovered in a forest location. He assured that efforts are ongoing to apprehend other fleeing members of the syndicate. The Federal Capital Territory Administration (FCTA) has announced plans to construct 3 additional bus terminals in Abuja to improve public transportation. Mandate's Secretary for Transportation, Mr. Elechi Chinedum, said the terminals will complement existing facilities in Mabushi, Kubwa, and Central area. Mr. Chinedum explained that the project is aimed at enhancing commuter safety and curbing criminal activities within the transport system. The disclosure was made during a health and safety outreach program for commercial drivers at Jabi Park. Officials of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA) sensitized drivers on the dangers of substantive abuse while the National Union of Road Transport Workers (NURTW) called for transport empowerment schemes based on vehicle provision rather than cash loans. The World Bank has projected that approximately 1.2 billion young people will reach working age globally within the next 15 years, while only about 400 million jobs are expected to be created under current trends. The projections were highlighted in a recent report by the institution. World Bank President Mr. Ajay Banga warned that the widening employment gap poses serious economic and social risks for developing countries. He noted that sustained job creation is critical to stability and inclusive growth. The bank advocated structural reforms centered on infrastructure development, regulatory improvement, and private sector expansion. It identified agribusiness, healthcare, and renewable energy as key sectors capable of driving large-scale employment. Value-added tax collections in Nigeria rose to 2 trillion and 280 billion naira in the third quarter of 2025. The National Bureau of Statistics reported a 10.66% increase compared to the previous quarter and a 28.1% rise year-on-year. According to the data, local VAT payments accounted for 1 trillion 120 billion naira, while foreign and import VAT contributed the balance. The manufacturing sector recorded the highest share of VAT contributions. The information and communication sector followed closely, reflecting sustained growth in digital services. The real estate sector recorded the weakest performance during the period under review. The Nigerian Port Authority (NPA) says the 3 vessels are scheduled to arrive at Lagos port before March 8, 2026. The vessels will berth at Apapa, Tinkan Island, and Lekki Deep Sea ports. The ships are carrying petroleum products, containerized cargo, and bulk commodities including fertilizer, sugar, salt, and wheat. 16 of the expected arrivals are container vessels. The authority also confirmed that 17 vessels are currently discharging cargo, while others await berthing clearance. The NPA says it is sustaining round-the-clock operations to ensure efficient cargo handling and supply chain stability. Now in sports, head coach of West Ham United, Mr. Nuno Espirito Santo, has commended Nigerian international Alex Iwobi ahead of his side's Premier League fixture against Fulham. He described Iwobi as a key creative influence for the London club. Iwobi recently scored in consecutive league matches, including a goal against Tottenham Hotspur. The midfielder has been instrumental in Fulham's attacking build-up in recent weeks. Mr. Espirito Santo acknowledged Fulham's tactical discipline under manager Marco Silva and stressed the need for defensive vigilance. The fixture forms part of an ongoing English Premier League season. Still in sports, technical advisor of Barrow FC, Mr. Eugene Agabwe, has praised his players following a 2-1 victory over Plateau United in the Nigerian Premier Football League. Plateau United took an early lead through Vincent Temitope before Henry Ezonie equalized. Substitute Stanley Ogambo scored the winning goal in the 86th minute to secure maximum points. The result moves Barrow FC to 10th position on the league table with 37 points from 28 matches. Mr. Agawe contributed the comeback to teamwork and resilience. The club will next face Kano Pillars in its upcoming league fixtures. The Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria (MDCN) has suspended 3 medical practitioners following investigation into alleged professional misconduct. The action relates to the death of 21-month-old child Nkano Adichie Esege. Those suspended are Dr. Tosin Majekonduni and Irokere Multi-Specialist Hospital, Dr. Titus Okundare, and Dr. Atinuke Owaje of Atlantis Pediatric Hospital. The suspension are pending the outcome of a formal disciplinary tribunal. The council also referred 10 other practitioners for further hearings. MDCN stated that the findings represent a prima facie case and do not constitute a final determination of liability. Selling entertainment veteran Nollywood actor Mr. Francis Odega has expressed concern over what he described as declining storytelling standards in the Nigerian film industry. He made the remarks during an appearance on the Where is the Lie podcast. Mr. Odega said the industry has shifted from strong original scripts to high-volume productions with limited depth. He noted that earlier generations focused on quality-driven projects that shaped the foundation of Nollywood. The actor, a member of the Actor Guild of Nigeria, called for renewed emphasis on creativity and professionalism to sustain the industry's global reputation. Nollywood actress Mrs. Chizi Alichimba has celebrated the first birthday of her son, Kenechukwu. The actress shared reflections on her motherhood journey over the past year. Mrs. Alichimba described the experience as challenging but rewarding, expressing gratitude for her child's growth and well-being. She also acknowledged the support of her husband, Mr. Chike Mba. The family marked the occasion privately as colleagues and fans extended goodwill messages. The actress reaffirmed appreciation for the support received throughout the year. And now to end the news across the country, here are the main points again. The Nigerian Army has deployed 170 forest guards to vulnerable communities in Arewa local government area of Kebbi State as part of ongoing counter-banditry operations. The Commander Sector 2 Operation Fantan Yamma, Major General Bema Paul Kuna, formally operationalized the personnel in Kangiwa, charging them to sustain aggressive patrols across forested corridors known for criminal activity. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has promoted 82 chief officers to the rank of assistant director as part of a broader advancement exercise involving 2,339 staff nationwide. The commission also elevated 91 assistant directors to deputy directors and 45 deputy directors to substantive directors. INEC announced that 18 of the newly promoted directors will continue in active services, while 27 will retire in accordance with public service regulations. The promotion exercise also covered 2,121 officers on grade levels 07 to 13 and was conducted in line with merit and established civil service guidelines. That's news across the country at noon. For breaking news and eyewitness report, call 070-3043-7110 or follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, all at Aneke TV. On behalf of the producer Chidinma Sogwa and the entire news team, I'm Good Hope Chukwuma. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day.
My name is Dr. Emmanuel Inhechi Asonye. I am the CEO of Omenka App LLC. I created Omenka App for the preservation of Igbo language and culture. Omenka App was established in New Mexico and it is headquartered in Albuquerque. But currently we are also being registered in Nigeria. We have a website. We are also on social media because my app is primarily for the Igbo community. In 2006, something significant happened among the Igbo community. UNESCO predicted that Igbo language was going to go into extinction, and that was because Igbo people are one of the most traveled people in the whole world. So the more children are born outside of Igbo land, the more they get disconnected. The app is on iOS, it's also on Android. Access the website and download the app from there. And over 2,000 people are using the app right now. But there's an app that will teach you about Igbo culture, Igbo people. We have Igbo poems, we have riddles and jokes, we have Igbo proverbs, then we have the word section where you are going to search Igbo words. Whatever word that you can find in English, you want to make sure it is found in the app in Igbo language. And I encourage everybody from their communities, you can do what we're doing in Omenka app with your own language and with your own culture. Do not allow your culture or your language to die.
Need ad replacements, coverage for events, or the latest news stories? Call 070-3043-7110 right now. Aneke TV, move with the world.
In functional democracies and competitive economies, meritocracy is not a slogan, it is a system. A system where competence determines opportunity, performance drives advancement, and leadership is earned, not inherited or imposed. In Nigeria, however, the persistent triumph of mediocrity over merit continues to shape recruitment processes, elective positions, and leadership outcomes across critical sectors of national life.
From public service employment to political office, from academia to corporate governance, troubling pattern has emerged. Access often trumps ability, loyalty outweighs competence, and short-term political calculations override long-term national interests. In the public sector, recruitment exercises are officially designed to be competitive, involving written examinations, interviews, and eligibility screening. Yet, multiple surveys and independent audits have consistently shown that informal influence, patronage networks, and bribery remain significant determinants of who gets hired. This reality has produced ministries, departments, and agencies burdened with underqualified personnel, struggling to deliver on complex policy mandates in a rapidly evolving global environment. The consequences are not abstract. They manifest in delayed project execution, weak policy implementation, inefficient service delivery, and ballooning recurrent expenditure with minimal value creation. When institutions are staffed without regard for skill or capacity, governance becomes reactive rather than strategic. The problem is not limited to recruitment alone. Nigeria's elective political system reflects the same crisis of merit. In many cases, candidates emerge not through rigorous debate, policy clarity, or intellectual depth, but through financial muscle, political godfathers, or ethnic calculations. Electoral outcomes frequently reward popularity, patronage, or vote buying over competence and vision. The result is a leadership deficit that cuts across local government councils, state assemblies, governorships, and even the national legislature, institutions constitutionally tasked with lawmaking, oversight, and representation, yet often lacking the technical depths required to interrogate budgets, scrutinize policies, or design forward-looking legislation. Other sectors tell a similar story. In education, the erosion of merit in academic appointment has weakened research quality and global competitiveness. In some tertiary institutions, promotions and leadership roles are influenced more by internal politics than scholarly output. In the corporate space, family ties and informal networks sometimes override professional management principles, limiting innovation and sustainability. Ironically, Nigeria continues to produce world-class professionals who excel in merit-driven systems abroad, from medicine and engineering to technology, finance, and academia. Their success outside the country reinforces a painful truth. The problem is not Nigerian capacity or Nigerian systems. Countries that have achieved rapid development offer contrasting examples. Singapore, Rwanda, and South Korea institutionalize meritocracy through transparent recruitment, performance-based promotion, and zero tolerance for patronage. Leadership selection in these systems prioritize competence, integrity, and accountability, even when politically inconvenient. Back home, the cost of failing to do the same is increasingly evident. Brain drain has accelerated as skilled Nigerians seek environments where effort is rewarded fairly. Public trust in institutions has declined, and citizens grow more cynical about processes they perceive as rigged or predetermined. Yet, experts argue that the tide can be turned. Strengthening meritocracy requires deliberate reform, not rhetoric. Transparent digital recruitment platforms, independently supervised examinations, enforceable sanctions for recruitment breaches, and clear performance metrics are critical starting points. In the political space, electoral reforms that reduce the influence of money, strengthen internal party democracy, and encourage issue-based campaigns are essential to improving leadership quality. Civil society, the media, and the electorate also carry responsibility to interrogate candidates, demand competence, and reject mediocrity at the ballot box. Ultimately, meritocracy is not elitism, it is fairness. It is the assurance that every Nigerian, regardless of background, has a genuine chance to rise based on ability and effort. Without it, institutions weaken, leadership falters, and national ambition remains unrealized. For Nigeria to compete globally, govern effectively, and harness its vast human capital, merit must no longer be optional. It must become the standard. In recruitment, in elections, and in every field where decisions shape the nation's future.
Morning headlines before you step out. Midday updates while you work. Evening analysis when the day winds down. Wherever life takes you, Aneke TV keeps you informed, connected, and ahead. Aneke TV. Move with the world.
In a nation defined by diversity and potential, the question remains, what kind of leadership will guide Nigeria into the future? Across government, business, media and civil society, one principle has emerged as non-negotiable: ethical leadership. Globally, leaders like Germany's Angela Merkel and New Zealand's Jacinda Ardern demonstrate that integrity and empathy are more than virtues. They are instruments of trust and stability. Merkel's pragmatic management of economic crisis and Ardern's compassionate yet decisive responses to national emergencies highlight the value of principled governance. Nigeria's lesson is clear: citizens, fellow leaders who are consistent, transparent, and accountable. In the private sector, ethical leadership drives success. Companies like Patagonia, with environmental stewardship, and Microsoft committed to data privacy prove that profits and integrity can coexist. Nigerian businesses can learn from these models, prioritizing transparency, fair employee treatment, and community engagement to strengthen both the economy and public confidence. Religious and civic institutions also hold enormous influence. In Sweden, faith-based organizations collaborate with governments in social welfare while respecting secular governance. In Nigeria, religious leaders can guide communities through ethical engagement, promoting peace, civic responsibility, and financial transparency. The media serves as the nation's ethical compass. In Watergate in the United States to anti-corruption investigations in South Korea, responsible journalism exposes abuse of power and strengthens accountability. Nigerian media, by upholding truth and resisting political pressures, can elevate public discourse and encourage ethical governance. Youth and civil society movements around the world illustrate the power of principled activism. Evidence-based campaigns in Kenya, climate initiative in Europe, grassroots civic actions globally show that organized engagement reinforces accountability. In Nigeria, young people and NGOs can champion ethical leadership through advocacy, civic education, and constructive participation. The path forward is practical and systemic. Transparent public finance, digitized services, whistleblower protections, merit-based appointments, and civic education are all critical. Ethical leadership must be embedded in institutions, daily operations, and individual conduct. When leaders govern with integrity, businesses act responsibly, institutions foster unity, and citizens uphold civic duty, Nigeria's potential becomes tangible. Ethical leadership is not just a moral ideal, it is a strategic roadmap to progress, cohesion, and sustainable development.
Don't think the question is clear.
Good afternoon, my people of Enugu. You're welcome to the best entertainment show on Aneke TV. You can always follow us on our official handle on Aneke TV platform, on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and so many other. And you know, I am your beautiful host for today. I go by the name Gift Obodo, popularly called Sheshu Lawyer. And before I delve into my main conversation for today, I have a beautiful, amazing, elegant lady with me here in the building. And she go by the name Miss Sandra.
Hello, Enugu. Welcome to Aneke TV Entertainment Show. Yeah. I'm glad to be here.
You're looking all diaper today.
Thank you. You too.
I don't know why I like her smile. It's so gentle and demure. Like, it's... Hell, I'm a woman. I should know anything. Okay, moving over to our main gist for today. My years of, being in the legal profession, I think this recent time, this issue has been a rising fall down, like, because people are always rushing in and rushing out. And I don't know, should we, single people, should we be scared, or should we just, take the bold step to do this? Okay, actually talking about there's this trending marriage that was an ex, while the couple was reported to split out in their marriage after 3 months when the wife refused to join the husband in his church.
3 months of marriage?
Yes. And it is, my husband's friend marriage ended just 3 months after the wedding because they couldn't agree on attending the same church. And the husband wanted his wife to join him in his church after marriage, and the wife refused. She was deeply committed to her church and served as the children's department coordinator. According to her, she has built a strong bond with the kids and couldn't walk away from them. The husband suggested that she could continue serving in the same department in his church and maybe even grow more than her there. But she declined. He also expressed concern about being under different doctrines and how it could affect their unity. She still refused. And once started the disagreement turned into a protest. She stopped cooking. She denied him intimacy. Both reported each other to their respective pastors. Family members, church leaders tried to mediate, and her pastor insisted for her to stay. The pastor emphasized unity in marriage and encouraged her to join her husband. No compromise, no resolution. 3 months later, the marriage ended. Personally, I feel like this conversation is like they should be settled during the talking stage, and sometimes people do not do the needful.
Simple, very simple. The thing is that these days we don't talk. Do you understand? People do more of touching in relationship more than they talk. But it's very, very important that you talk. The man is committed in his church, obviously. She too, she's committed in her church. So you have to discuss, this is the church you're going to go to. And definitely as a woman, you cannot get married unless you agreed with your husband. You discussed with him that, okay, I like my church. She understand, and then he's okay with you going to your own and he's going to his own. It's usually in the time of courtship, just at the beginning of the relationship, that you get to say this is what you're going to do and this is what I'm going to do. Not when you have come into the marriage, you are now forcing her to attend your church even when you did not discuss about it. You have to make this thing, put it down, because children are going to get involved. Do you get? And look at what is happening now. There's now a separation and every other thing has fallen down because of church. Something you would have avoided earlier on. Do you understand? So it's very, very important that we talk about so many things.
Okay, I'm coming from a different dimension. Now, during our mother's time, there's nothing like I have my own church. You just have to marry and marry into the man's church. And now with the growth of young ladies now, persisting on, maintaining some laws and some doctrines and some other things they did. They were single, trying to maintain it in this present time? Do you think is one of the contributing factor of this marital fallout?
Well, the thing is that as a woman, you're supposed to be submissive to your husband. So now things are now spoiling. You have seen it. Maybe let's say you made that mistake you did not discuss. We should not leave that landmark. Our parents, like you said, our parents did it. Do you understand? So where your husband said you should go, that should be your church. Forget about, okay, you can still be in touch with your pastor. You can still watch online. Do you understand? But it's your husband's church. What he's the head of the family. Wherever he's going, that is where you should go. Do you understand? Forget about this generation that have their own opinion and there's no fear of God now. Do you understand? So the thing is that you should actually follow your husband to his church.
This actually led to, okay, I will tell you a story where there was quite a couple of times I have met some cases like this, and one of them is marriage that fell apart 1 week after marriage. And when I was asking, trying to know what's the reason between the both couples
falling out,
at the moment I feel like someone should just pinch me. And it turned out that the lady does not cook.
Wonderful.
So, the first day as a woman, you are married to the family, and you are supposed to come home to the normal extended family to do some, cultural things like come cook for the whole family, sweep the compound, do this thing. The woman, is confused, looking confused.
She doesn't know how to do anything.
And she's telling the man this is not what she bargained for.
Oh my God.
The mother-in-law said, Gene, you will kill my son then.
Oh my God.
So there was clash. The woman was like, I can't do this.
Is it that the man did not know who he's marrying or what?
One thing is that you are marrying someone, maybe you can actually tolerate that particular woman. Now, don't you know that you are not the only person marrying the woman?
It's not only you that is marrying the woman.
I think he felt like, she is my wife. So it ends there. He didn't expect the upset, and he couldn't manage it because he couldn't fight his own family.
He couldn't fight his own family.
Yeah, do you understand? He didn't know the depthness of love he had for that lady. So at the point he realized that he couldn't fight his family for just.
The woman should calm down and learn how to do those things.
She said she didn't bargain for this.
In marriage, all the things that you bargained for, that's what will even come to your face. All the other things you did not bargain for, that's what will face you in your face in marriage. So prepare for the bargained and the unbargained. Do you understand? So it's normal.
And I think another thing is some men trying to hide so many things from their woman. Trying not to explain to the man, please, you need to go and meet my mom.
No, normally in relationship, people bring out their best foot. Some people even fake things. Do you understand? Then in marriage, you will now see the reality. True color. That's why we need God in marriage. Because all the old things that you don't know, all the old things that you don't see, it's only God that can tell you, yes, by that peace that you feel and by that unrest that you feel. That's where you get all the good and the red flags.
Okay, moving on to my second gist for today, and it's about a man that said a friend in him to saying that his daughter was on an oxygen and couldn't breathe. That he needed to borrow like an amount, 1 million naira, and the man, feeling so sorry for him, sent him money, telling him that he will return it whenever he could return the money. And the thing that struck the man was that after the whole sending money, he just dropped a reply. Thanks.